Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Blender Easy, and in today's video we are going to create this abstract looping animation inside of Blender with the help of geometry nodes. So if you are new to this channel, then please consider to subscribe this channel and also hit the bell icon to get more updates. So without wasting any much more time, let's get started. So here we are in Blender and I don't want any of this stuff, so I'll hit A and then I'll hit delete to delete those stuff. Then I'll press shift A, go to the mesh, and I'm going to select my torus over here. Let's zoom on it. Let's go to the add torus option and major segments, let's choose 30 and let's choose minus segments somewhere around 10. Okay, if you want then you can make this 25 as well. It's totally up to you. I'm going to make it 25. So let's select this and then we will go to the modifiers. We will go to the add and we are in search option. I'm search for displace. So now we will get this kind of displace material. Then click on this new and over here in texture, I'm going to choose clouds. Okay. So we are going to get something like this. You can adjust the size of it. I'm going to make this size 1, let's say. Okay, and in color properties over here you will get so many different options. You can adjust this color properties according to your needs. I'm going to increase this contrast somewhere around 1.5. okay, and where we go now. After that I'll press shift A and I'll go to the curves option over here, shift A, curves, and we are going to add this circle. Then I'll press shift A, I'll go to the empty and I'm going to add one plane axis. Now I'm going to select this empty, I'll double click on it and I'm going to call it as move. I'll select that empty, I'll go to the constraints, add constraints, and I'm going to choose follow path. And in target, I'm going to select that Bezier circle. Now let's increase our timeline and start value. I'm going to make it 0 and I'll go to the start and I'm going to create one keyframe at offset. Then I'll go to around 180 frame and I'm going to make this value 100 and I'll create one keyframe. And end value as well, I'm going to make it 180. Okay, so now if I play this, I'm gonna get this kind of animation. Now I'm going to select this torus. I'll go to the modifiers in this place. Right now coordinates is local, so I'm going to choose object, and in object I'm going to select that move empty. And now if I'm gonna hit play, I'm gonna get this kind of animation, which is also going to be in the form of loop, like that. So my animation is ready. Now I'm going to add my camera and I'm going to adjust it. So press shift A, I'll go to the mesh and I'm not mesh, but I'm gonna go and select my camera and I'll hit 0 and let's go press N over here, go to the view options and enable camera to view, and let's zoom out. You can select this and press dot as well, so you can see this like that. Now I'm going to select this torus, I'll go to the object and I'm going to rotate it on y-axis, so make this 90°. So I'm gonna get something like this. Similarly, I'm going to select my camera and let's make this rotation 0 0 0. Okay, and hit 0 to get out of this camera view, and I'm gonna go in my front view over here and y on let's make this value as well 0 0 0, and now we will adjust our camera properly. So I'll press G, X, and I'm going to move my camera over here. Then I'll press R and I'll try to rotate my camera on this axis. So over here let's make this 0 0 and let's make this 90. And now if I hit 0, I can see my camera over here like that. But if you see, this camera is not proper, so we have to rotate it on this axis. So for that, what we can do, let's make this 0. We will rotate it on 90°. Okay, then we will rotate it on 90° as well. Okay, so now if I see and now if I hit 0, I'm gonna get this kind of stuff. Okay, and let's make this X location X only. And now if I hit play, I'm gonna get this kind of animation over here. Now I'm going to select this torus and I want to rotate it on y-axis, or let's make this 90 over here. I can rotate it on this axis as well. So what we can do, let's make this 0 and let's rotate it on this axis. Let's make this 90 only. Let's not rotate it. If I try to rotate it like that, I need to make this also 90. Okay, so make sure to choose X rotation 90 and Z rotation 90, and let's make this Y rotation 0 initially, and let's create one keyframe. we'll go to 180 and we'll make this 360-degree rotation and we will create another keyframe. Okay, so now if you hit play, we are gonna get this kind of rotation as well. Now let's hit 0 to get out of this view, and now we will try to add some geometry nodes. So I'm going to select this torus and I'll go to the geometry nodes. We will right click, join areas, similarly right click and join areas, and let's create another view from here. Let's select this and try to zoom, and this portion over here I'm gonna go to this option and I'll convert this into geometry node editor and press N. Now over here we can adjust our geometry nodes. So first of all, select this torus and click on this new, so we will get this kind of geometry over here. And now we need to create different geometry nodes. So for that, what I'm gonna do, I'll hit space bar and I'm going to type join geometry, and let's bring one over here like that. Now after that we are going to create some, I don't want all of these faces. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to type delete geometry and simply move this over here. So as you guys can see, now they are deleting this geometry points. Right now instead of points I need faces, and in selection I want random selection. So I'll simply bring this over here and I'll type this random value over here and simply click on it. So if you see this structure, we are getting something like that. Okay, over here. Now let's try to do this animation over here only. I'm going to decrease this value, or let's say increase this value a little bit, and right click, and I'm going to create one keyframe over here in seeds, and I'll go to around 180 and I'm going to make this value 20. I'll right click and I'm going to choose insert keyframe. So what will happen, if you see over here, I'm gonna get that animation over here as well. Okay, so this is for this. Now I'm gonna go and do something else as well, like I want line like structure over here. So for that I'm gonna do transform geometry over here. Let's type transform geometry over here, and let's bring this over here, and let's bring this over here right now. Okay, so what will happen, that we are getting another geometry. So let's try to bring this over here, and now over here I need to create line like structure. So for that this is one mesh and I need to create lines out of it. So I hit spacebar and I'm going to search for mesh to curve over here, so it will create lines. Now from this curves I need to create mesh, so I'll type curve to mesh over here like this. And now we need to add a profile curve over here. So for that I'm going to choose circular curve circle over here, and we will bring this to profile curve. Now the radius is too much, so I'm going to reduce the radius by holding shift. You can adjust it accordingly. I'm going to say 0.005. so if you see, we are getting something like this. Okay, so we are getting this kind of structure. Now we have three geometries. Now let's bring this over here. I'm going to select this transform geometry, and by holding shift D, and I'm going to create duplicate of it, and let's try to bring this two over here, and let's try to make this link with this and link with this. Okay, and now let's try to bring them over here just for now. Okay, try to adjust it like this, and now over here we need to create points over here. So for hit spacebar, and I'm going to type instance on points and simply link over here. Then we need to add instances. So for instance I'm going to select cube. Let's break this over here and let's link with this instance. Now by holding shift I'm going to reduce all of the scale somewhere around, let's say like this. And now if you see, we have all the instances. Let's bring this a little bit more somewhere around, I think this much looks good to me. And I don't want these points all over the here, so I'm going to type delete geometry over here and simply bring this over here, and in selection over here I'm going to type this random value. Okay, so now we are not gonna get any points on each and every one, so we will get something like this. So there we go. Now our geometry node is ready, and now we need to add materials for each and every one. So first let's add material. So I'm going to create this. See, I'm going to select this and I'll go to the material. I'll create new material, double click, and I'm going to type as lines over here, which means this material is for this lines. Then I'll create another material over here, double click, and I'm going to call it as mesh. Then I'm going to create another material and I'm going to call it as cube. Okay, so I'm not going to change this lines and mesh right now. So only for this cube I'm going to select my blue color over here in color option. Similarly in emission as well, I'm going to select my blue color, and strength I'm going to choose 4. And in render settings, make sure to enable ambient and blue. Now we need to add materials for each and every one. So hit spacebar and let's call it our set material and try to link with this. Shift D, bring this over here as well. Shift D and bring this over here as well. So I have different materials for this one. Now I know that this entire portion is for this cube. So over here I'm going to select that cube. This entire portion is for that mesh. So I'm going to select my mesh material, and for this one, this is for lines. So I'm going to select line material. So our geometry node setup is ready. Now I'm gonna go in my layout mode and I'll hit 0 to see through this entire settings through my camera view, and press Z and render output. We are getting something like that. Now I'm going to go in world settings, and for the color I'm going to choose black color. Obviously because we have applied our color to this cubes, we are getting something like that, and if we hit play I'm going to get this kind of options. Now let's press shift A and we will go to the lights, and I'm going to add point light. So I'm going to get this kind of point light at the center. Similarly I'll press shift A and I'm going to add point light again, but this time I'll go to the top view, press G, and I'm going to move this point light over here. Then I'll press shift D and I'm going to bring another point light over here, and let's hit 0. Now let's select this point light, and over here I'm going to choose not like that. Select this point light, go to the light options, and we are going to select blue color, and let's make this power 100. Okay, similarly I'm going to select this point light over here. I'm going to select red or red color over here, let's say, and choose 100. Okay, so now if we hit play, I'm gonna get this kind of light over here. I can select this lights over here, and I can hide it as well, or let's keep it as it is, and you can select different colors like this, or let's say somewhere around like this. I think blue color would be nicer. Okay, so if you see, we are getting something like that, or I think instead of this red color over here, you can choose different color like this as well. Okay, now I'm going to select this. So I'll go to the material option. For the mesh I'm going to select like black color over here, and let's make it a little bit metallic. And I think instead of black, I think let's try to create something like this only over here, and you can increase the metallic value, and you can bring down roughness somewhere around over here like this. So we are gonna get this kind of option. Similarly for this lines over here, I'm going to choose complete white, and I'm going to enable my metallic option, decrease the roughness over here. And over here, if you want in emission option over here, you can increase this value as well if you want colors out of it. Otherwise you can keep it as it is. I think we need to keep it as it is. This looks good to me over here like that. Now after that I can go to the top view. I can select this, I can press shift D X, and I can bring this over here, hit 0, press S, and let's increase the size of it like that, so we'll get one at the background as well. Okay, over here. Now I can go to my camera over here, or let's go to the top view. Let's select this, shift D X, and let's move this over here, press S, and let's increase the size and hit 0. And let's select our camera and go to and enable depth of field. Go to the depth of field, let's make this 0.5 over here. In over here also, let's select our camera, let's go to the depth of field, and let's make this 0.2 maybe. Yeah, this one looks good to me. And now along with this animation, we are gonna get that depth of field as well. If you make this 0.1, that is also okay. We will get different results, and you can adjust the focus distance according to your needs like that. So in this animation I'm going to adjust that as well. So initially focus distance I want it at the back. So over here let's make this 15, and I'm going to create one keyframe at 90. I'm going to make it 10 Let's create one keyframe, and at 180 I'm going to make it 15 maybe again and create another keyframe like that. So if I hit play, I'm gonna get something like this. And let's do one thing. I'm gonna go somewhere around 60. I'm going to make it 10. I'll create one keyframe. I'll go to around 120 over here, and I'm going to make it 10 over here as well, and I'm going to create another keyframe. Okay, so what will happen, the camera will focus on this portion a little bit more, and then after that we will get different animation again. Okay, so yep, this is our final output, and after that all you need to do, simply go to the render settings, make sure that it is in EV, go to the output, adjust this resolutions, make sure to choose 30 fps, then save the location. Color depth I'm going to choose 16, frame from start to 0 to end 180, and after that all you go to the render and put on render. That's it.